Boba Fett partners with Fennec Shand. Hello everyone, I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today I'll be reviewing the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 4. So this episode starts out with Boba Fett having another flashback. Alright, so this is basically another flashback episode. And we see Boba Fett is doing recon on Jabba's palace, trying to get his, trying to figure out how to get his ship back. And this isn't inherently really that bad. Again, I think everybody's relying too much on flashbacks to tell a story. But this one works in this sense because we end up getting to see how Boba Fett saves Venice in everything. So in this episode, so after he gets done with the recon, he's having dinner, and that's when he sees the lights in the sky flashing from the Mandalorian episode, where they're trying to blind Venice so they can get close to her to take her out. And he rushes over, and afterwards he finds her, laying on the ground with a gut wound. And this is when he takes her to the mods and gets her fixed up, So this whole mystery is done. It's over with. We see exactly what happened. And after that, she's got a debt to pay off, so she ends up helping Boba Fett get into Jabba's palace to get his ship back. And this is where we end up getting a sequence where Venice and Boba Fett, again, infiltrate Jabba's palace, and they have to end up taking out a couple of kitchen droids, which was fine, they quickly take them out, but then this smaller droid comes through. And it gives them a super hard time, and they're running around the kitchen making tons of noise. I honestly thought this was unnecessary. It was very dragged out. I mean, I'm trying to think of the right terms. It was very dragged out. Like, this whole little droid thing stopping them wasn't necessary at all. They could have just left and went, towards the hangar more and had a couple of the guards circle back, or even one person maybe trying to go in, grab a quick snack or something, where they could have went in and saw the droids, destroyed and been like, intruder alert. Something better than dragging out the scene, because I thought, this whole sequence was a little dragged out. Including there's a hangar scene where there is some decent action in it, but again, it's a little dragged out. Boba Fett's trying to make sure his ship works, but then he's trying to fly it around a giant hangar, and it's all messing up. And I was just like, it's a little longer than it needed to be. Personally, I thought it could have been shorter, so we could have maybe gotten a little more story after that. But then they go to the Sarlacc Pit, and this is where I thought it was kind of cool. The Sarlacc Pit was always one of my favorite things in Return of the Jedi, because you have the Sarlacc, who's literally thousands of years old, and if you get too close to it, tentacles pop out and they drag you in. Thought that was kind of cool. So when Boba Fett does that with his ship, it gets stuck, and they have to basically kill the Sarlacc, and then that's it. He goes and tries to look for his armor because he doesn't remember the Jawas that knocked him out and took his armor. So he doesn't know anything about that at this point in this flashback. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep doing flashbacks, even though I think it's like 7 or 8 episodes, where we're going to actually see him track down who had his armor after, he passed out, the Jawas, then who the Jawas sold it to, things like that. But I mean, we'll have to see. So this episode does end with Boba Fett hiring the Chrysanthemum and having a meeting with the crime families about the Pikes and trying to get them to create an alliance. So this episode had practical effects in it. They were fine. Had no issues. I actually like, again, the Sarlacc Pit part, especially the explosion. Thought that was kind of cool. The acting in this, for what the Book of Boba Fett is, it's fine. Everybody seems a little stiff, and the dialogue is still a little dry in this episode. So, I mean, again, really, at this point, there's, it's the same. It's been consistent all throughout the episode. So there's been no standout parts, things like that, in this. So this episode was exposition heavy episode. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce the word. That bridged the two timelines together finally. So I feel like now going forward, we shouldn't be going to flashbacks. Everything should finally be present day. And there was some action in this, but mainly it focused on Boba Fett and Venice becoming partners. So there was a quite a bit that happened in this, but it was just exposition heavy. It was just dialogue heavy. They were just finishing up like the past story. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to keep doing flashbacks. I kind of hope not, because now we should be past that. But I'd give this a 6.5 out of 10. This took me a couple of days to get through. It wasn't really that fantastic of an episode. It really wasn't a fantastic episode at all. It was really kind of slow and for me. So it took me quite a bit to get through it. Hopefully the next episode, from what I've heard, is amazing. I'll be watching it and doing a review on that as well. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Take care for now, everyone.